In this lesson, we're going to learn the most useful expressions you will need when eating at a restaurant in China. Part 1. 在去餐厅之前 before going to the restaurant. First, let's look at some words and phrases you will use before going out to eat. 去外面吃饭去外面吃饭去外面吃饭 This phrase literally means to eat out. 去 means go, 外面 means outside, and 吃饭 means to eat a meal. So, together, it means you are not eating at home, you are going to a restaurant. If you replace 外面 with a specific place like 餐厅 or 饭店，去餐厅吃饭，去饭店吃饭。The sentence sounds more formal, like the English to dine out. Now, if we want to 去外面吃饭 or 去餐厅吃饭, we usually want to make sure there's still a table available before we go. So, we need to call the restaurant ahead of time to make a reservation. Or in Chinese, 预定位置预定means to book or make a reservation. You can use it for restaurants, hotels, or even flights. Basically, anytime you want to reserve something in advance. 位置means seat or table, but it can also mean the location or position in other contexts. We will stick with the restaurant meaning here. So when you put them together, 预定位置 means to book a table or reserve a seat. Let's imagine this. You and I are planning to go to a super popular restaurant tomorrow, but you are not sure if they still have seats. What should you do? Of course, call and 预定位置. Here's how it might go. 你好，我想预定位置。Not enough info yet. You didn't say how many people or when. Let's add a bit more detail. 你好，我想预定2个人的位置。Better, but the restaurant still doesn't know what time you want to come. Let's make it complete. 你好，我想预定明天晚上7点钟2个人的位置。Nice. 你好，没有问题。明天晚上我们还有2个人的位置。In Chinese, we describe the noun before saying the noun and connect them with 的. For example, 位置 means table or seat. 2个人 two people, 2个人的位置 a table for two. When we add a verb like 预定, the descriptive part still goes before the noun, but after the verb 预定2个人的位置, which means to book a table for two. But if we're just going to a small street food store or a local snack shop like 沙县小吃, we don't need to reserve, just walk in. If you're not sure whether a restaurant requires a reservation, here's a good tip. Most restaurants in China don't actually have their own website. Instead, they usually appear on third-party apps like 大众点评, 美团, 高德地图. These are the apps I personally use all the time in China. You can search for your restaurant there. If there's a book button, just reserve directly. If there's only a phone number, you can call and ask if booking is needed. And if you see neither, that usually means you can just walk in. No reservation needed. Okay, enough learning for now. Let's put what we've learned into a real-life conversation. 雨婷，明天要不要一起去外面吃饭？好啊，明天中午还是晚上呢？要不明天晚上7点钟吧。附近新开了一家火锅店，我们去试试吧。哦，我知道那家，他们晚上很多人的。没事，我已经预定了2个人的位置。你手可真快呀。Alright. Now that we have 预定了位置, let's head to the restaurant and see what happens next. Part 2. 在餐厅里 at a restaurant. Now, when you arrive at the restaurant, 服务员 will usually bring you the 菜单, tableware, and some tea. 服务员 服务员. In China, calling someone 服务员 directly is not rude at all. It's totally normal to say 服务员 to get their attention. But if you rather sound softer, you can also just make eye contact to say 你好 before asking for help. Another important vocabulary is 菜单. 菜单. 菜单 means menu, but in most Chinese restaurants, people order food by scanning a QR code on the table. So you will often hear 你好，可以扫码点单. That means please scan the QR code to order. 扫码点单. 扫码点单. Since Chinese dining culture is shared style, not individual plates, one person usually does the ordering for the whole table. Before that, they will often ask, 你有什么忌口的吗？你有什么忌口的吗？你有什么忌口的吗？ Do you have any foods you don't eat? Or 你有什么喜欢吃的菜吗？你有什么喜欢吃的菜吗？你有什么喜欢吃的菜吗？ Any dishes you like? In China, menus usually don't mark whether dishes are vegetarian friendly or contain allergens. So if you have any dietary restrictions, you will need to talk directly to the restaurant. From my experience, it's better not to rely on the menu alone. Sometimes what's written there is not 100% accurate. So I usually say something like, 你好，可以帮我去掉这个菜里的肉和鸡蛋吗？我对肉和鸡蛋过敏。你好，可以帮我去掉这个菜里的肉和鸡蛋吗？我对肉和鸡蛋过敏。你好，可以帮我去掉这个菜里的肉和鸡蛋吗？我对肉和鸡蛋过敏。去掉 remove 我对过敏 I am allergic to. You can replace meat and eggs with any ingredients you want them to remove, like 去掉花生，去掉花生，去掉海鲜，去掉海鲜。我对花生过敏，我对花生过敏，我对海鲜过敏，我对海鲜过敏。Now let's take a look at what's on the table. You will usually find the bowl, a plate, a pair of chopsticks with a chopstick rest, and a spoon. 筷子，筷子，筷子。Chopsticks. Chopsticks are for picking up food. When you are not using them, place them on the chopstick rest and never stick them upright in your bowl because that looks like incense at a funeral. In formal settings, you will often see a second pair of chopsticks beside the dish. These are shared chopsticks for taking food from shared plates. But with family and close friends, people don't usually use public chopsticks. If you do, it might even feel too polite or distant. 勺子，勺子，勺子 spoon. 碗，碗，碗。盘子，盘子，盘子。How people use the 碗 and 盘子 can actually show where they're from. Northerners usually put dishes on the plate. Southerners often eat directly from bowl and use the plate for bones or shells. I personally eat the southern way, but really it depends on your own habit. Let's see how this works in real life.
你好，我订了一个今天晚上7点钟2个人的位置，请问您手机尾号是什么？8888。好的，这边请。服务员，我可以要一下菜单吗？亲，你可以扫码点单。雨婷，你有啥忌口的吗？除了西兰花我都可以吃。好的，那我不点西兰花。我记得你喜欢吃辣，我们点一个辣一点的菜吧。你真是太贴心了。
If you need something during the meal, you can always call the 服务员 for help.
服务员，可以帮我换一双筷子吗？
The 服务员 will usually say,
好的，马上。
马上 literally means on the horse, but in real life, it means right away or immediately. It's like saying, I will be there in a second. I'm on my way. 我马上就来。 我马上就来。电影马上开始。电影马上开始。Okay, we've had our meal. Now comes the final part, paying the bill, part 3. 买单 paying the bill. You can simply say
服务员，买单。
买 means to buy, and 单 means a bill or list. So 买单 literally means to buy the bill, which is how Chinese people say to pay the check. Usually the waiter or the waitress will bring you a QR code to scan and pay.
你好，一共100块，扫码付款。
扫码付款。扫码付款。扫码付款 means scan to pay. And in China, most people use WeChat Pay, 微信支付, or Alipay, 支付宝. Sometimes the waiter or waitress will take you to the 前台 to pay there. 前台。前台。前台。前 means front, and 台 means desk or counter. So 前台 literally means the front desk, the place where you make payments or check in.
你好，买单。你好，一共100块，微信还是支付宝？微信，谢谢。
In China, people don't usually split the bill in the restaurant. Normally, one person pays first, and then others send money later if needed. For example, if I want to split the bill with you,
这顿饭多少钱？我转给你。
多少钱？多少钱？多少钱？ But if other people want to treat you, they might say,
没事，我请客。
请客。请客。请客 means to treat someone, as in this time you are my guest. Alright, we learned how to talk about 去外面吃饭, to eat outside, how to order food in a restaurant, and how to 买单 in Chinese. If this lesson helped you, please give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what Chinese topics you want next. 谢谢你们，我们下次再见啦！